Hey guys, I wanted to throw together a quick little tutorial walkthrough, whatever kind of video to help any of you guys who want to make music that don't really want to rely on samples and presets. So I want this to serve as kind of a good starting point and kind of show the power that you can have with really basic tools. So I got an empty project going. We're not going to use this track area. I prefer the old school pattern stuff. I'm going to delete this automation channel just so it looks nice and clean. Start on pattern 1, and we're not going to use any extra filters or effects. I will, however, drop in on the master channel an equo just so we can look at the frequencies that we're dealing with. That's really helpful if you start to sort of understand what frequencies you want certain things to be in, especially if you're taking a bare minimalist approach like this. Anyway, let's get started. We're going to use all 3x oscillator for literally everything. So I'm going to delete out the sampler here. We're going to start with a kick drum. I'm going to do this probably for just about every time that we drop in an oscillator. I'm going to bring all the volume knobs down to 0 and reset the coarse adjustments. So we're left with just a basic sine wave. Let me select that. There we go. Okay. For the kick drum, we're going to use the basis of, let's say, well, actually, let's just do square wave. Okay. Ow. We're going to transpose this down because we want our kick drum to lie somewhere around the 60-80 range. So I'm going to right click on the C6 note to move the root. Now if I play the same note as before, you'll notice it's lower. If I do the same to C7, play the same note as before, it's lower. We might go one more perhaps. Okay, so that's going to be the basis of our kick drum. Next we're going to filter it. Okay, so we're going to use the low pass filter, and I'm going to roll off everything that's above about 160 to 200. I'm going to add a little bit of resonance here to bring out that area. Okay, and then we're going to get started on the volume envelope. So we're going to turn that on, crank the attack down to nothing, the hold down to nothing, the release down to nothing, the sustain down to nothing, and we'll shorten up the decay. So I'm going to press and hold the key, but you'll hear that the sound drops off pretty quickly and becomes silent. Okay? That's about what we want. So if I lay these out in our pattern here and play, we have the start of our kick drum. One other trick to use with making a kick drum in this fashion is to use a pitch envelope. Okay, so I'm going to activate that. I'm going to bring all these other parameters down to nothing. We're actually going to use the attack edge, the rising edge. So we're going to start out at the normal pitch, and then as the attack increases, we're going to lower the pitch probably all the way. And you'll notice that these lines are kind of intersecting here. So as the sound drops off, the pitch is going to get lowered. So we're going to shorten that up a little bit, right about so we have kind of an X here. So as soon as it drops off to 0 volume, at the same time we've just hit the lowest pitch. Let's take a listen here. Not bad, right? So let's also try at C7 and see if that still creates a good sound. That sounds more like a kick drum to me. So yeah, around the 80 to 100 part. So let's keep that. Let's rename that to kick. Okay, and let's add another 3/0 for our snare. I'm going to, as before, reset the coarse knobs, bring down the volume, and our snare is going to be noise. obviously sounds like noise. Yikes. For the snare, we're going to want it to peak. We're going to want to contain all the frequencies kind of in a curve like this. As you can see, there's a lot of higher end stuff. We're going to cut that out. To do that, we're going to use a bandpass filter. And the easiest way I've found to use the bandpass filter is to crank up the resonance, and then as you're playing, you sweep the cutoff down till it's centered around where you want it to be. Alright. And then we'll decrease the resonance to open that sound up. Doesn't sound a whole lot like a snare drum, a snare hit yet, but it will in a moment. Let's go to the volume envelope and turn that on. Crank the attack down to nothing, release, sustain, and hold down to nothing. And similar to the kick drum, we're going to bring the decay down quite a bit. So you get kind of a snap sound. Another cool thing that we can do is actually use a cutoff envelope. Similar as before, I'm going to crank everything down except for the attack and kind of overlap those in sort of the X pattern again. And basically, we're going to want it to start off higher and then become a little lower. So I'm actually going to increase the cutoff knob here, and then as the sound progresses, we're going to bring it down a little bit. Sounds more like this. For a more pronounced effect, let's take a listen. It's a little too much, right? So let's bring that down up here a little bit here. We'll do this a similar thing with the resonance. We're going to start it off pretty tight and then open it up. So we're going to start it off tight and then open it up, and we're going to set up a similar envelope as with the cut. Probably about the same thing, actually. Okay. It will increase the decay just a little bit. Whatever. So let's drop those in, just see what we got. It was kind of a subtle effect. Might play around with it a little bit, but that's good enough for now. Okay. We're going to add another 3/0. This is going to be our hi-hats, so let's reset all this stuff here. We're going to use noise again. And this is going to be limited to high pass. So we want to capture really anything 5,000 and up. Okay, then I'll increase the resonance to fill that area more. Okay, and then we'll set up, yeah, similar as before. We're gonna crank all that, and pretty tight decay. We'll get just a little hair of attack. Okay, we'll fill every 2. Let's solo that snare. It doesn't quite sound loud enough here. For now, let's turn off these envelopes here. Sounds a little bit better. Okay. Drop in a couple of those. We'll move on. Call that the hat. Actually, let's tighten up the hat just a little bit. Okay, and that would be on the volume envelope. All right, now let's do some strings, like a string pad. So yeah, reset all these. Now, so far we've been limited basically to square waves and noise. So now we're going to introduce the saw. We're going to use 3 saws, and we're going to tweak the fines of the second and third saws a little to the right, a little to the left, and then maybe with the stereo detune, little to the right, little to the left, and that'll give us kind of a multi-voice sound, and this will give us kind of a chorus panning. Let me reset these, and we'll do that in real time here. So the basic sound, and then we'll tweak the fines. Okay, and then we'll tweak the detunes to give kind of a stereo separation. Okay. There we go. The next thing to do is we're going to set up a bandpass and sort of limit it around this range here. So bandpass, I'm going to crank up my resonance and then sweep downwards. About that, and widen it up. Like that. Maybe increase the, or raise the cutoff a little bit, decrease the. Okay. Now for strings, you usually want a little bit of attack. We're going to keep the sustain all the way up, so, you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter. The whole doesn't matter if the sustain is up. And then we want a bit of release as well. So let's see. Yeah, it's not bad. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to start with here. So let's do strings. And let's set up a basic something going on here. Let's play around a little bit. Alright. Now I actually, I wanted to increase the lengths of these a bit, make them last for 2 bars each. And there we go. Okay, so let's drop that in and take a listen here all together. Well, it's a little bit dramatic, or whatever, but let's add a bass line. So we're going to add another 3/8 here. Reset all this junk. Okay, there we go. For the sub bass, the real deep part of the bass, we're going to use the sine wave, and we want that to be really quite low, lower than the kick. So around 60 or so. So let's see if we can get there. Yeah, right about that. If you got a good subwoofer, you might be able to feel that a little bit. Yeah, okay. We're going to want to introduce a little bit of a higher stuff as well to give it some meat. You're not too limited. You can use a sine or a square. I'm going to use the sine square or whatever. and introduce that with about a 50% volume. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's do a low pass on this. Little resonance. Okay. Maybe a teeny touch of attack, not much. Little bit of hold, pretty quick decay, and maybe 2/3 or 3/4 sustain, and very, very little release. You might be able to tell that we do have a hold and decay. So when I hit the note, you'll see it kind of spike up and then level down just a little bit quite quickly, and then hold there. Okay, that's kind of important for bouncy subby basses. Alright, whatever. So, it's good. We're going to do really, really basic bass line. So, our kicks are on the first and one past the middle, whatever. I'm just going to copy the root note of the chords. And these are going to overlap with where our kick drum hits are. All right. Let's take a listen all together. I don't like that chord at all. Let's see. There, that works a little bit better. Let's drag these up. Try that again. Decrease some volumes here, the strings. So the strings are quite loud. We might even tweak the strings a little bit and see if we can soften them up a tad. So I might try some triangle waves instead for at least the bass here, or the core, fundamental, whatever. Let's see. Or maybe reverse that here. This sounds a little softer to the ear, I think. Increase the stereo. Tad. Alright, let's do a lead. It's going to be a basic lead. Let's rename our bass here. Okay, basic lead. This is where you're really a lot less limited in some ways. You know, you can use really whatever waveforms you like. I'm going to do, let's do a square wave. Let's reset this junk. Okay, square. Oops. Ooh, sorry about that. Okay, and let's introduce some stuff. Alright, we're going to band pass this. It's going to be pretty open. Actually we might just do a low pass for that. That sounds kind of sick. Alright, so basically no attack, maybe just a little teeny bit, okay. Full sustain and a little bit of release. And I'm going to cheapen out a little bit and just follow the same chord, but we're going to do an arpeggiation on this. Alright, hope you see what I did there. Same root note, and then in half, for each bar I just went from one of the chord pieces to the other. Something about this still doesn't quite sound right. Yeah, let's just get rid of that. That's junk. I don't know. That's fine. Whatever. So, arpeggiator, we're going to, let's do a rising maybe, with a range of, say, 3. Alright, let's take a listen anyway, what we got. I'm going to decrease the time to 2 steps, and we're going to lower everything by 1 octave. I'm going to activate slide mode and decrease the gate a little bit. We're gonna play with the gate as we're listening until we like this sort of techie slide effect that we've got. Let's just try range 2 and see what that gives us. Let's focus on the drums a little bit more. I'm going to fill out all the hats, and then for every one that I just filled in, I'm going to decrease it to about 1/3 of that level there, roughly. Okay, let's listen now. Add a little bit extra energy to it. I would really like to get a bit more of an echoey effect. We might be able to achieve that just by increasing the release a little bit. Whoa. Now that's messing with the arpeggiator a little. Let's try the echo, the built-in echo here. Let's see what that does here. that's right. I think I remember that maybe doesn't actually work with the arpeggiator enabled. Let's try it without. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on here? I'm not sure why that's not working actually. Alright, so we're not going to use the echo. So yeah, I got rid of the release because I was given a little bit of an artifacting with the arpeggiator. I think it was well, specifically with this slide. Maybe that's also the reason that the echo is not working, because we have slide on or something. I don't know. It's kind of strange. But anyway, that's about it. Hope you guys found something interesting or useful on this. And thanks for watching.